Hello everybody, how are you guys doing today? I hope everyone is doing extremely well. That's the third video I'm gonna be recording here. However, this video is gonna have a particularity because it's gonna be shot in English, and the idea of this video is talk to you guys my journey in English and show you that it's completely possible to go from basic level to reach fluency. So basically this video is gonna be full in English. I ask you guys to really pay attention from beginning to end because there are plenty of things that I've applied to myself, and I do believe it's gonna be really interesting for you that are learning English right now in this moment. Things that I wish I knew before. I wish maybe someone had told me earlier, you know? And I'm gonna be sharing this with all of you guys. I don't have a script here. I just have the title in there so I can stick to the point. But this video is gonna come completely out of myself. I had this idea, and I do believe it's gonna help many of you. By the way, if you don't know me, hi there, my name is Gabriel Martins, and in this channel we talk about English and self-development. Particularly in this video, we're gonna be talking about English once more with a full English video. So I really hope you can enjoy it. So let's stick to the point. How to leave basic level in English, go to intermediate, and then finally reach advanced level like I've done. There are a couple of steps you gotta take first, but let's go from the beginning. When you start learning English, everything is new. It's a novelty because you don't know the vocabulary. Everything you learn is new, so you have lots of this excitement, because everything is new. Saw you've never seen those words before. You've never got in contact with that vocabulary before as well. Everything's new. Everything is like a big ocean of novelty here and there. But as time passes, you start to realize, oh, okay, I'm seeing a new thing here, or other new thing there, but everything kind of seems the same because it does seems the same. It does seem the same because there is a big difference between natural spoken English and formal English, which is something I can talk about later in this video. But when you are basic, A1, maybe A2, A1, A2, everything is new. But when you already have this base well established and then you're going to go to intermediate level properly, then you're gonna be seeing that, okay, now nothing changes. I learn a new verbal tense, I learn a new phrasal verb, maybe a new connective to put there in the middle of the sentence when I'm communicating with someone. But it seems to me that everything kind of looks the same because what is going to change now not necessarily is grammar and heavy vocabulary and heavy new structures that you're going to be learning this B1, B2 level, but it's much more about fluency. It's much about the way you are going to pronounce the words, it's much more the way that you can articulate your thoughts. Going a step further now, I'm gonna come back to A1 and B1, but given a step further and going to B2 C1, what is the biggest difference between a B2 speaker to a C1 to a C2 level speaker in English? It's the level of precision this person can have within the language. And what do I mean by this? Let's pretend we're talking about business, we're talking about economy. A B2 student can talk about this topic for sure. However, with less specified vocabulary, with less accurate vocabulary than a C1. Much more difference is going to be, of course, than a C2 student. So the precision of the vocabulary is going to change because this person is intermediate or upper intermediate, and the other one is advanced, and the other one is proficient in the language. So there's a big difference when it comes to accuracy onto the vocabulary you're going to be using in that specific topic, which is the biggest difference that I always tell to my students between being intermediate and finally reaching advanced level in the language. Giving a step back now, we're gonna go on and back, so that's how things are gonna flow. Many people struggle to reach fluency level in English. And what do I mean by fluency? Fluency, in my perspective, in my definition, I believe you have another one. And if you do, please let me know down in the comments below. But my definition of fluency is being able to talk, being able to express your ideas in English. If you are fully able to do this, great job. You are fluent. You got there. But Gabriel, what about pronunciation? What about articulation of the words? What about fluency? What about all of these speaking things? Okay, they come in handy, I would say. They are very useful. They're important. I'm not saying they're not important. They come in handy. They are like they, there is something good that is going to make a big difference in your speaking. However, look at this, pay attention to this. They're gonna make a big difference in your speaking, but they are not crucial. They're not the core. The core is, hi, what's your name? And then I answer your question. What do you do for a living? And then I answer your question. What's a memorable moment in your life? What's something memorable it has happened to you in your life? And then I can answer this question. So this is fluency. We're learning the language for this. Like what I'm doing now, I'm talking to you guys. Uh, I learned the language, and my students and other people learn the language for this because they want to communicate with the other person. So that's the point, communication. If you don't go through this first step, which is being able to communicate and to speak fluently and effortlessly, you're not fluent yet. That's my perspective once more. And then why are you gonna why are you gonna spend so much time on accent reduction, on uh, connectives and other things that are important but not as important as as being fluent in the language? Like you are, we have this expression in Portuguese. Basically, you are putting something less important ahead than the really most important thing. You know what I mean? I believe you guys do. So there is a line. There is a line of importance in here. First, learn how to speak. Practice, repeat over and over and over. Become good at speaking. Become fluent. Again, my definition of fluency is being able to share your thoughts, being able to say what you want to say effortlessly. Once you've done this, nice. Now you can go for accent reduction if you want. You can go for speaking with more coherence if you want. You can sharp your speaking abilities using more phrasal verbs and even reaching C1 and C2. Great, but focus on the base first. Great. Once you've understood this, now it's time to go a little further. Coming back to B2 and C1. I'm talking about now upper intermediate and advanced students. What is going to be the key difference, as I've mentioned previously, between a B2 student and a C1 student? Again, it's on the accuracy of the thoughts you've got. I've realized this recently with my students that we can be talking about a simple topic, but if I have a student that is B2 and if I have another student that is C1, the same question is going to be answered differently. Of course, because the how can I say this? The inputs they both receive is different. The B2 student is receiving outputs in this level, maybe just one example, and the C1 student is receiving outputs, it's receiving inputs in this level. So it's just different. It's just different. And then of course, the if the input is different, what they're receiving is different, the output consequently is going to be different as well. That's the reason why the same question for different people can be answered completely different. And I see this daily, hourly, I would say, happening with my students because my classes are 1 hour to 1 hour. So I see this happening and happening a lot with a lot of frequency. Uh, but Gabriel, okay, understood. There is a big difference between B2 and C1, but I want to get to C1, or I'm fine with C2, but I'm A2, B1 now. What do we do to get to B2 level? It's quite simple, actually. There are two basic things you need to understand to get finally to B2 or C1 or whatever the level you want to reach. How are you going to be able to do this? Through contact in the language and repetition over and over and over in this language. You need to be familiar with the language. So immersion, repetition, immersion and repetition. Because once you're immersed in the language, it's familiar to you. It's familiar to your brain. So you're not gonna have breaks. You're not gonna have line cuts while you're communicating with someone because everything is gonna flow smoothly. The same way as it does in your native tongue. The same way as you do daily when you're talking to your family and friends in your native language. The same thing has to happen in English, but it is only going to happen, it will only happen when you are familiar and comfortable with the language. Otherwise, it will never happen. Contact with the language, immersion in the language, and producing in the language. Because if you only consume, parenthesis here. Every time people ask me, what did you do to get the level of English you have? And I say, hey, I've consumed plenty of videos on YouTube in English. I've consumed movies, I've listened to music, I've talked to people. Of course, I started giving classes, so I became a teacher, and all of this helped me, I would say 95%. But those 5%, and I would say even more than 5% because I continue doing these things now to keep the level I have and go even further, get a higher level of fluency, accuracy, and communication. All of this came through this, and you can do it now. Practicing on YouTube for free with videos. If you want to get a private teacher, of course, I'm here for this as well if you need me. But there are lots of free tools. AI. You can talk to ChatGPT, for example. Hey, and then you can start a conversation with it and talk about the topics you want, whether it's music or sports or TV shows or anything you've ever thought about. You can go there and talk to it. It's gonna be a topic you like, it's gonna be a topic you enjoy, it's gonna be something um, light because it's something you are familiar with. So there are thousands, there are hundreds of free tools. But then we come to what I've said in the last video. You need to, and in the video before that one as well, you need to have discipline. You need to be consistent on the things you're doing. Because I can spend here 20 minutes in this video talking to you guys about how to get to B2 and C1 and leave A2 and reach B1, which is going to be through immersion in the language, studying the language, speaking the language, getting more familiar with the language through videos, through movies, through music, doing exercises, getting a particular teacher if that's your case, most of these things are free. But I can tell you guys about this over and over. But the core, the base of all of this, therefore, is going to be consistency. You need to have discipline to give a step today and tomorrow give another step and the day next another one. Because if you only give the final shot, sorry, if you only give the first shot and then you don't sustain all of this until the very end, you're not gonna get any result. You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna say English is not for you. You're gonna say now it's not the time. You're even gonna say that it's not for yourself because you were not born for this. No, you're just lying to yourself. It's because this is reflecting the lack of discipline, the lack of self-confidence you should have, but you do not have now. But no problem. I'm not here to point fingers. No, no, no. I'm just talking to you guys like a conversation, as I would do to a friend of mine, and as I do with people who follow me, with people who are accompanying me on Instagram. By the way, if you don't follow me there, it's at Gabriel Martins OR. Follow me there because constantly I show up on the stories speaking English and I post very good things in there. So it's a conversation here. I'm talking to you guys as if I were talking to a friend of mine. You need to develop this self-awareness of, okay, if I do it, I'm gonna get the results. But if I do not do it, nothing's gonna change. I'm gonna continue in the very same place. English is going to open hundreds of doors to you. Job opportunities, traveling if you would like to, watching the TV show you've always dreamed of. All of these things are gonna come with mastering this skill, which is English. You don't need to be C1. You don't even need to be C2, which is the highest level of English proficient in the language. If you're aiming for a B2, which is upper intermediate, or even for C1, because now some job positions are asking this, okay, fine, we can work on it. There are hundreds of ways to get there. But again, The easiest way is going to be, again, through immersion. Take notes about this, please. It's going to be through immersion in the language and production in the language. If I can tell you guys, two basic things are this: immersion in the language, production in the language. Immersion, consuming, consuming, consuming. But consuming alone is not gonna get you anywhere. So you need to produce. And what do I mean by production in the language? I mean talking, interacting, actively in the language. It can be writing, but most importantly, speaking, like I'm doing right now. One of the things that one of the reasons why I started on Instagram and also I'm recording this video here in English is because practice. I don't have a teacher now who teaches me the language. I don't have a mentor or anything like that in this very moment. I'm recording this video 2026 January 18th. Later it can change, of course. However, now in this moment, I don't have a mentor. Nobody's mentoring me. I need to work, I need to continue improving myself by myself. I need to sit, I need to study, I need to consume. Nobody's gonna force me to do so. I have developed this self-discipline over time. As I've mentioned to you guys before, if you don't do it to yourself, you're not gonna get the results out of it. And I do wanna get the result out of it. So I am going after all of this. I am doing the hard work. You need to do the hard work, because if you do not do it, you're not going to be able to reach fluency in English. You will never break through this plateau, which I believe most of you, if you are watching the video so far, you already have a good level of English, but you want to break this plateau. If you do not change the way you're doing things now, if you never go for what is really effective, you will never break through this plateau. And you're gonna continue being B2, you're gonna continue being B1, you'll never leave A2 if that's your case. Again, I'm not saying being these levels is bad, depending on your need, of course. But you gotta realize that there's more. You can improve, you can sharp this, you can sharp the way you speak, you can use more precise vocabulary, you can sound better in English. You can, the same way I'm doing now, the same way I teach my students, the same way you are trying now. It's possible to achieve. It's something completely achievable. However, immersion and production are completely necessary. Okay? I believe that's the message I would like to talk to you guys in this video. How to break through plateau and reach fluency in English through immersion and production. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story in English as well, and give another insights that just came into my mind. Again, there's no script in this video, it's just a normal conversation as I would have with a friend. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed, because it's a natural, it's not something that I was rehearsing here before. I just put the camera here and let's record. So guys, please, if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, give a comment down below. It's gonna help me a lot if you like it, if you enjoyed this video, if you got some insight out of it. If you didn't like anything, please just let me know as well. And I really hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.